It makes me question my own sanity, whether I'm seeing things as they are or if I'm overreacting. Update 1. Thank you for cheering me on, and yes, you can congratulate me because I have a new house. Nothing luxurious, just a 2-bedroom house with a spacious living room and a small front garden. Although it's in a nice neighborhood, sorry for not updating sooner, I've been busy setting up the house. Here's the new update. As I mentioned in my first post, I bought the house despite my mom's objections. I knew I wanted it for myself, regardless of whether my mom liked it or not. I didn't even inform her about it. It wasn't out of spite, I just couldn't deal with another round of emotional manipulation. I thought they would eventually find out, and I'd deal with the consequences at that time. It hurt because it was something important to me, and I wanted my family to celebrate the moment. I wanted to involve her in the process, but she chose to sabotage it. After the last argument, I kept my distance from my family. My mom sent messages and called several times, but I didn't respond. She thought I was angry. Her last message was, "I know you're angry with me, but trust me, this is best for you and your sister. We're family, and we shouldn't hurt each other. When you calm down, you'll see how good it is not to rub the house in your sister's face." I let it go and waited for the news to reach them. Eventually, it came sooner than I expected. A couple of weeks after moving in, I posted a selfie in the front garden with a coffee, nothing too revealing. I didn't give it much thought. I was proud of my new space and wanted to share it with my friends. I made sure to hide the post from anyone who could leak the information to my mom and sister, but I forgot to remove a church friend of my mom's. She saw it and mentioned it during Sunday prayer, and within hours, my phone started blowing up with messages from my mom and sister. I was busy and didn't see the messages. I didn't even realize my mom's friend had seen my post until I received a call from my mom. It had been months since she last called me, so I answered. As soon as I did, she launched into a tirade. "How could you do this? Do you know how bad your sister is? And you go and buy a house without even telling us? What were you trying to prove by doing it behind our backs and satisfying your damn ego?" Instead of hanging up, I decided to confront the issue. I said, "I didn't think it was necessary to inform you. I knew how you would react." My mom interrupted me, saying, "Of course, you know how I react. You did it behind our backs anyway." I could hear my sister in the background telling my mom, "I told you she doesn't care about us. She's just looking for a chance to make me look bad." This made my blood boil. She always plays the victim, always needing to be pampered and protected. Meanwhile, I was expected to put my life on hold to sacrifice my own happiness for her sake. Mom accused me of being selfish and arrogant, saying I didn't care about other people's feelings. This led to an ugly fight. I told her I was proud of making a decision for myself, even if she didn't like it. The conversation ended with my mom hanging up the phone. I was trembling with rage and frustration, but I also felt relief. I did what I wanted and didn't give in to her pressure. Last week was my birthday. Neither of them wished me a happy birthday or invited me for Thanksgiving yesterday. It would be a lie to say it didn't hurt. Of course, it hurt, but I'm glad I saw their true colors. I'll stay out of contact with them. If they don't need me, I don't need them either. Update 2. I thought this would end when I decided to cut contact with them, but it didn't. Last week, my mom and sister showed up at my door unannounced. This happened 2 months after they found out about the house. I was surprised to see them there, and the naive part of me thought they were there to make things right, so I invited them in. Before I could offer them a tour of the house, they started wandering around on their own. I could see how my mom was calculating and planning. I knew whatever was coming next wasn't going to be good. Her first line was, "This is a nice house, really, very nice." I didn't know what else to say other than, "Thank you." Her compliment also confused me. My sister said nothing, just kept wandering around the living room. One of my rooms is empty. I wanted to turn it into a study, but I haven't bought the furniture yet. My mom went into that empty room and said, "Pixie can stay in this room. It has a perfect view of the garden and would help her get over her depression." I was in shock. I wasn't even sure I'd heard her correctly. I asked what she meant and she replied, "This house, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world, is perfect for your sister. She can move in here with you, just until she gets back on her feet." I stared at her, astonished. "Are you serious?" I asked. She responded, "Of course I'm serious," and looked at me as if I were the unreasonable one. "She needs a place to live, a place where she can recover from everything she's been through. This house is perfect for that. She's living in a dark apartment and can't get over her gloomy life. She needs light, and this house would give her the freshness and positive vibes she needs to move forward with her life." I was furious. "No, it's not. I'm not going to let her move in with me. I bought this house because I wanted a place for myself, not for her to get over her superficial depression. I'm not going to sacrifice my peace for her." My mom got furious with me and said, "Your sister is your family. How can you be so cruel?" Her argument was that she is my sister, that she has been through a lot, and that I have the means to help her, so it's my duty as a sister to help. It's not like I've never helped my sister. I've given her money when she was in a tough situation. I've bought her gifts, dresses, shoes, and bags whenever I got a raise on her birthdays and at Christmas. What more do they expect from me? I was burning with rage, but I controlled my emotions and said, "I've given enough. I've sacrificed enough. I've spent my whole life doing what you and Pixie wanted, and I'm done. This is my life, my house, and I'm not going to let anyone take it away from me." Until then, Pixie had been sitting in a corner, dejected. She finally spoke with a pathetic voice. "I just don't understand why you're being so mean. I thought we were family, but sadly, you don't consider us anything." I wanted to confront her for her crocodile tears, but that would have diverted the conversation. So I said, "We are family, but that doesn't mean I have to give up everything I've worked for just to make you feel better. You need to start taking responsibility for your own life, just like I did." Pixie broke down in tears and said, I don't have the means to achieve anything in life. You have everything. As family, we should support each other. If I were in your situation and you were in mine, I'd definitely let you stay. That's not my fault, I said. You made your choices, just as I made mine, and now you have to live with the consequences. After that, there was a long and awkward silence. Maybe it was rude of me to say those things, but what other option did I have? They were driving me crazy. My mom was angry, and my sister was hurt and crying. I started to feel a bit guilty about my words, but I repressed my emotions and asked them to leave. My mom looked at me in disbelief. She wanted to argue, but I could see she knew it was futile. She looked at me with cold eyes. You're making a big mistake, she said, then grabbed my sister's arm, pulled her towards the door, and they left. I closed the door behind them and leaned against it for a moment. I wasn't sure if I had done the right thing. Sometimes I think I'm selfish for not letting my sister move in with me. But then I remember the resentment I faced when I told them about my plans to buy a house. I know my relationship with my mom and sister will never be the same, but I also know I couldn't keep living my life for them. I have to live for myself. Update 3. Thank you for validating my actions. I'm glad so many of you could relate to my feelings. It also makes me reflect on how many of us have been exploited by loved ones in the name of family. Here's something new that happened. In the days that followed,